Thanks.
We're at the market on a seller Saturday morning. Don Chaney, Andrew Cole.
Here we go.
All right,
Yeah.
Nick,
So let's
continue
stay
on
with
co-
this because we don't.
What-
Yeah.
So what do you want to ask me? Oh, so I can plug
So
my
in your
book
book,
that doesn't
so in
exist
your
yet.
in
Well,
your book that doesn't exist yet, give me like one of your chapter headlines. You got a chapter headline? Tell everyone the name.
The
of your
history
book
of
again.
thumbs up and thumbs down, and
Okay.
it's a chapter about
Say the name of your book.
the,
again. Let's
the
start from the beginning.
political discourse 101.
So it's not political discourse for dummies.
No, because I realized the For Dummies franchise might take me to court, so I strayed away from that. That's my new working title.
How about for
Poli-
the enabled?
You might be onto something there, actually. I kind of like that, but nonetheless, I've become disgusted with partisanship's okay, but blind loyal partisanships just drives me nuts. And so
Okay.
that's why I decided to write this book. And one of you asked about a chapter.
How
One's
long is
called
this book
The
gonna
History
be?
of Thumbs Up and Thumbs Down.
Okay. How the book is 70 pages now.
I'm looking at about 100 to 150. I'm getting close.
150, which means basically 2 pages a week. You're going to be done in 2011, 2012.
No. That
Well, at the rate you're going, you're writing 2 pages a week.
well, the last few weeks that's been my rate.
Oh, but you think you'll pick up the
I
pace
do.
later?
Yes,
Okay,
I do.
'cause 2
Especially
pages a
when
week
off
is-
season will be coming soon, and I'll have a lot more time. I won't be up here on Saturdays. That'll
You'll
give
be
me time.
writing. You're going to be writing on
Exactly,
Saturday.
diligently.
Okay. So talk about one of those chapters.
Okay, one of those chapters is about the advent of the internet and political discourse. Now allows you to be even more anonymous, and opinionated, and uneducated than ever before. And all you have to do is click thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can feel better about yourself without actually having to back it up with any sort of dialogue or discussion. And I think that's just made things even more vitriolic than they
Do
already
you
were.
think parties? Do you think we should do? Oh, there he is. Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Mr. Fletcher, nice
there's
to see
Mr.
you.
Fletcher. Let's do this. Let's grab him real quick.
I've bored you
While he's
already
here.
with my book.
No,
I know
no,
what's going
because-
on here.
because
It's
here.
okay. I'm not
I'm going
offended.
to let
It's all right.
Karen trade seats. Can we do this on the fly? We can do it on the fly. Alan, why don't you take and move that chair over there? We're gonna move that chair over. He was probably there getting people ready to sing. And then what we'll do is we'll move Karen where she was going to be, which is going to be in the last segment, and we'll have this in the next one for Alan. Does that work?
That works perfectly for me.
What I love about what we do.
Seat of the pants.
Seat of the
Make
pants.
it up as you go
Are
along.
you done promoting your book?
Well, I am now because this is live, and
There
we
you
move
go.
with what happens.
Yeah.
And Mr. Fletcher is here, and I think what he has to say is probably way more important
I
than what I have
think,
to say.
and the reason you're just a snip late, I assume you couldn't decide which sports coat to pick out for radio.
No. I was walking my dogs and I locked myself out of my house.
That is not good.
You can't make these things up.
No, you can't. Did you get back in the house?
I did.
Okay. And how are your dogs?
They're fine. They're happy.
Okay. So let's introduce. Why don't you introduce what Alan does?
Alan Fletcher, director of the Aspen Music Festival, executive director. I want to make sure I get my title
president.
straight. What's that? President. So yeah, I messed
President.
that one up. Didn't
Now,
I?
is president better than director or executive director?
Thank you. That was my
I think
next
it's
question.
the same thing.
Are
It's the same. Is there an executive director?
No.
So you're the god. You're
Yeah.
the king. You're the man. Okay.
the man? Let's just stay with that. I
So
like that.
I want to just take a little different tact because I don't want to. First of all, someone asked me a question the other night because they said you were going to be on, and they said, "What is the budget for the year?" You know, you know what I mean.
About-
What is your budget?
About 13 million.
13 million.
Okay.
So now we know that. You guys used to run 9 weeks,
Mhm.
and now you're running 8 weeks.
That's right.
Okay. And the reason you cut down the week, explain why you cut down the week.
We started a 5-year plan right away, looking at the size and scope of what we do and who we are. We had a lot of opinion from our faculty and our students saying it's too long. We were then, at 9 weeks, we were the longest summer educational program in the world.
Right.
No one else is more than 8 weeks.
So was it tied to money? Because at one time you guys asked the city if they wanted to have another week. I could be wrong. You can correct me. I think it was like $550,000 for the extra week.
I'm not saying you're wrong, Andrew, but I
can say I'm
never
wrong.
said that. I think there might have been an offhand comment.
Someone threw that number out.
Yeah,
or
that it-
threw out a number.
Right.
Okay.
So, but we started not saying how can we save money, but we started by saying, look, everybody thinks this program is too long, and if you're a faculty member in an orchestra in a conservatory, if you're a student in a conservatory, you finish your work all year, you're tired, you want a break, but you come straight to Aspen, you do your 9 weeks, and then you go straight back. And So that's where it started. And then, this is 2008, and then September, October of 2008 happened, and we said, and also, we'll save something on the order of $500,000 by doing this.
That's where it came from. That's
Yep.
what you saved. Okay,
Yep.
I knew there was a number. I knew I wasn't completely nuts. So you're from your organization's point of view, going back to a 9-week schedule is not something you're even looking to do.
No.
Okay, so let's go next step. There are some that would argue that the music festival's crowd is higher in age, older crowd.
Well,
Do you
older
think that
than...
is in other words, more 50 plus than 30 to 50?
Well, the average age nationally for subscribing to an orchestra is 57.
Okay.
And that's an average. We don't, ask people how old they are. But when you say they're older than what? They're older than
one of the arguments
skiers.
was that the program was getting a little tired. I'm just telling you what I hear. I'm not saying it's true or false.
Yeah.
And that was because they thought that it needed to be youth, kind of brought down in age. I don't know how you do that because I'm not a classical music. That's not my deal.
Yeah.
Don, are you a classical musical?
I love it. If you were to ask me, I'm not one of those that can tell you everything I'm hearing, but I absolutely love classical music.
Okay. Well, we have to have new people getting involved, always.
Right.
That's a given. We would love to see people in their 30s and 40s committing to, being part of what we do. That's a given. We don't think our audience is trending older.
Okay.
But coming to a lot of concerts is a hard thing for people with kids. And of course, we do have a lot of activities for families with kids.
Right.
So they do those things. But to spend a couple of hours in the evening going to a concert, you're not going to do that 6-7 nights a week if you have kids. And it's just not reasonable to say those people should be coming to our concerts.
Is attendance pretty much on par with what you expected this year? Are you?
It's higher than expected.
Higher.
We're ahead of budget by about 10% in ticket revenue, but we're ahead in attendance between 17 and 25%.
Really?
Yep. And that's because
Is that because the ticket prices are down, do you think?
they're not down, they're
Okay,
flat.
sorry. Flat?
But people are using their passes more than in other years.
So when you buy a pass where you might go 6 times, now they're going 7 or 8 times
Yep.
maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
Nationally, what's happening with these types of festivals? Are they trending older or younger, or trying to find that new audience, or there are other?
Well, as I say, everybody wants to keep attracting new people because that's the only way to stay current.
Relevant, sure.
Obviously. The so-called graying of the audience is not a trend. It's a myth. And these numbers are tracked nationally, since the 30s, really. And starting in the 30s, people were saying that the audience is getting so gray. What's happening? Well, it's
biology.
staying
That's
there.
what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, if you look at who performed this year in the papers, when you see, it looked like your performers looked younger to me than previous years. It just appeared that way, maybe because you had so many young violinists or whatever. But I mean, that's what it looked like to me.
I don't think that's true, but as I say, we're not obsessed with age.
Right.
And of course, most of our performers...
I am, obviously.
Well, most of our performers are students, and so
Right.
when you look at the stage, you're seeing, as people as young as 10 years old. One theory I have, and it's an unprovable theory, but if you look at my hair, you'll see how this fits in, is that when you start turning around 50, you start thinking about gray hair. Then you look around, and I went to concerts when I was a teenager and when I was in 20s and 30s, but it never occurred to me to think how those...
So you just see more gray.
Right.
If you have gray.
You start thinking about it.
Oh, no, that's a good point. I didn't notice a lot of
why
gray-haired
I-
folks at the concerts I went to when I was 20, and I notice a lot of them now.
That's why
There
I
you go.
wear a hat.
That's why.
Taking a little break here. We're going to stay with Alan. We'll come back.
We'll stay with Alan Fletcher, the Aspen Music Festival. We're at the market. Don
President.
Cheney and the man.
God.
The man, the guy in charge at the
God.
Aspen Music Festival.
Okay.